let's talk about the future. And what I mean by the future is exactly what it is. Let's talk about the future. So for a lot of people, the future is uncertain. So people don't think about it, don't think about how you can start to build the framework of what your future could look like. If you start thinking about how I can do certain things right now, you could start building the right habits to formalize what your future could look like. For me, the future has always been exciting to me. I've always been one that every year sets the New Year's goals, and I've set these goals for myself and then built upon them after I chase and conquer these goals. That's something that has always been exciting to me. And so I never quite knew why it was exciting to me, but for some reason it was. Well, come to find out later in life, I took an assessment, and inside that assessment, it told me that I am a futuristic person. What means that one of my talents is getting excited about the future and actually getting other people excited about the future too, because I usually have a vision of what it's going to look like. So when I describe it to other people, they get excited about it. So someone like me, I'm very fascinated with tomorrow. I need opportunities to talk about the future. I love the inspiration that comes from, dreaming. And I hate commitment to the status quo. I bring previews and predictions and forecasts, and those are the things that got me excited when I was younger. So when I got older and I understood what that was about, I'm like, oh, no wonder I get so excited about the future. And so my career, I've worked in radio and music for double-digit years, and I remember always getting excited about new music coming to me. Whenever I got new music in my hand, I was always so excited to play it. I wanted to premiere new music to people because, again, that's to me a part of the future, right? When you hear a song for the first time, it has a long life that it can live on the radio. So I always got excited about sharing that with people. And so, again, that's when I start figuring out, this future thing, something about it gets me very excited. I know that the future, like I said earlier, makes people a little nervous, when you think about that, because it's just, there's no vision there, right? It's not predictable. It's just the future, right? I don't know what's going to happen in the future. However, I think that you can start the right habits right now for what your future, whatever endeavors are going to be. If you're thinking about it right now and setting up a foundation, you can then start thinking about, okay, this is the goals I want to hit. This is what I'm going after. This is what I want. So, once you start thinking about like that, the future starts to get a little bit brighter, right? Because you kind of know what the roadmap is. And so let's take it back, 2 years, 2.5 years, however long it's been, COVID hit, right? So when COVID came, we as society, civilization, the people started to see that musicians and creators were not making the type of money that you thought. You thought everybody's making Drake money, everybody's making Taylor Swift money, but then you started to realize that there are emerging artists and mid-tier artists that wasn't making that type of money off of streaming, right? You started to understand the royalties, how much streams you would have to make to get a decent living wage. And so when society started to understand that, you started to feel bad for certain artists, right? Because how is it that you're doing something you love, but you're not making any money out of it, right? And so when I started to figure that out for myself, I thought, how can we do better? How can we be better? How can I myself, from my perspective, how can I help? And so the first thing that came up to my mind is like, because I've had this long trajectory career in music, I have a lot of connections. I know a lot of people, but more importantly, I have the knowledge to help. So I want to help, and I'm going to help. And so I started thinking about, what's the best way for an artist to structure their long-term goals? Well, I think that the only way you do that is by making sure that you understand your data, understand who's listening to you, where they're listening from, who's reading your newsletters, who's hitting your website, who's buying your merch. If you don't understand that, it's very hard to make plans and decisions. So that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. I want to work with artists to look at their data, look at their insights, look at anything and everything that I can to help to make more strategic decisions on your career. Let's not just throw something on the wall or just throw something out there and not have a plan to it. Let's not do that. Let's sit down. Let's decide, let's figure this out, and let's make sure that, when you're putting out your creatives, or when you're trying to get music placement, or when you're trying to go on radio promotions, that you have an action plan put behind there, and making sure that you're making the right decisions for you, right? Because when everything's said and done, this is all for you, and you have to be good about this, because when you're working with emerging artists that are not signed to labels, indie, you don't want to just throw it away by putting out something and not having a plan. So then let's make sure that whatever you're doing has a better return on investment. And so that's what I want to do. That's what I want to make sure. I want to look at your data and build a structured plan, an action plan, and make sure that your money is well spent, and making sure that you're getting the best visibility that you can whenever you put out some type of music or some type of creative or some type of anything that you put out. I just want to make sure that it's truly getting the eyeballs and the ears that it needs, so then you are growing as an artist and your fans are growing and your fans feel more connected to you. So this is why I referenced the future so much in the beginning of the video, and how the future has always been something that I get excited about. So what I want to do is bridge that gap and collaborate and bring those two worlds together, of the future and my passion for helping musicians. So bringing that together, so once you understand that a little bit better, it's easier to then start forecasting what your future could be like, because now you understand who your fans are, how they're listening, how they're streaming, how they're buying your merch. Once you have that idea, it's easy to then start thinking about, okay, now I can make these long-term goals. So that's why I spoke about the future and the data. That's why we're here at Great Future Consultancy. Every week I'll be putting out some more content like this, maybe digging in a little bit deeper on some more specific topics. But as of right now, this is very general, and I just wanted to introduce myself, which I don't think I have introduced myself. My name is Quay. Nice to meet you.